All right, everybody, welcome back to Pro Vibe Garage. Once again, I'm Jamie, there's Mara, and today is going to be, I think, an exciting episode, for me anyways. Yeah, let's check out what we got going on. All right, so a little while ago, I picked up some goodies before we actually moved here. And now that the wiring is done, I think it's time that we get into working on the underside of the car. And that will start with transmission hoop and cross member. And in the rear of the car, finally got a set of these. The exhaust rear valence bracket, figure that out after. And also, to go with the cross member, got the transmission mount. Hardware for that. That will be, again, coming at a much later date. But this is all courtesy of Holley and the Hooker Blackheart series transmission for a Gen 3 Hemi conversion. So I am going to be removing the original transmission hoop, get rid of that stuff, make a little bit more room. This is much skinnier here, but also much thicker at the same time. So I got the courage to do this by watching Luke's Garage, and I guess a big shout out to Luke's Garage for helping me figure out visually what I'll be doing. Now let's get the instructions, get the car in the air, and figure out what the hell I'm doing. So my intentions are to build this car the way I want to, with a Gen 3 Hemi, 6.4 liter, and a TKX 5-speed manual Tremec transmission. I'm not gonna have the room to get that through this, which is why we're swapping it out. And I had always planned to do that since seeing Luke's Garage do that. This is the original cross member and hoop. Normally you're gonna find a couple of spot welds front and back. Need to cut those out when you're cutting this as per the instructions. I am lucky, 2 years ago when I did this, whole new floor pan, was never welded here. I had a little bit of extra clearance between the two and never welded it. I just filled a couple dollops of seam sealer in there, as you can see. So it'll be a little easier for me to get rid of that after making my cuts. But yeah, let's get the bolts undone here, drop this, and look at cutting the hoop out. Big step. Okay, so I started hitting it with this spongy wire wheel. It's good for loose stuff, but there's a lot of heavy scale right here. So I'm gonna get a better wire wheel out and I will grind it down. This, I don't have to worry about. This is gonna be cut, but at least from here back to the other side, I'm gonna get that wire wheeled and cleaned, get it into a rust inhibitor, and then we can worry about spraying it black and everything once the other part's ready to go on. We'll seal it all, but for now, let's just clean this up. And it just started pouring rain outside. All right, okay, keep going. Listen, you can hear the rain. Look at this. That's coming off the roof, but yeah, that's a good rain. We need it. Right. You can see I got through a lot of the original rust and road grime. There's still some heavy scale on the passenger side here. That's not gonna go away. It's pretty deeply pitted. I got into some of the original epoxy. So now I am going to spray the rust fix, which you have seen me use before. And grab this Duplicolor rust fix. It'll kind of turn it a purpley color, blackish, and neutralizes any rust that's on there, like there, and will stop anything from growing. After I have done all this, I will be addressing the rest of the frame rails and underside and everything, and finish burning in some of this here. But yeah, I got lots of work to do. Concentrate on this first. So get the rust fix on there and let that dry, and then we'll get into some primer and keep going from there. All right, rust fix is done. The primer is done. We're going to let that flash off, and then we will start cutting and grinding and get into that stuff. So for you, it'll only be seconds. For me, I'm gonna let that go for probably a few hours before I do anything. But yeah, measuring and cutting coming next. All right, it's time. As always, I have the instructions. And the first thing we're gonna be doing on the upper cross member is measuring from these two holes, the insides of them. We will be measuring and marking a line vertically at 1/4 inch from the inside of the holes, and cutting that to a rough opening of 7 1/4 inches. Measure line 1/4 inch. The opening will be trimmed to actual size after the initial cut is made to avoid cutting into the support bushings inside the cross member. So after we have that and know where everything is, we will be doing a finished opening, of 7 1/2 inches, and then we will be pounding out the tunnel that's coming after. So let's start with measuring, marking, and cutting. All right, got that out. You can see the little cross member supports inside. We're gonna make sure we don't cut too much of that. Like I can see I've nicked it a couple times, no big deal. Now we're gonna take this off, give or take about here. Just kind of round this off a little bit. Then we will deburr the sides and keep going with the new, this piece here. Coming soon. All right, so we now have our opening just under 7 1/2 inches, 7 3/8. So now I will grind it back a little bit on both sides, make sure they're about even. You can see I've tried to put this in. It is just a little tight at the bottoms, so it looks like it's pretty even. I'll take a little bit more off of this side, I think. But yeah, now it's just trial and error and keep going until it fits, and then modify up here to fit that new hoop size and shape. And yeah, a little bit more to do. Okay, so we have 7 1/2 inches wide now. I will now put this up here like that. You can see it fits side to side, but it's not fitting up here. There are some areas that I can see is touching. So with the marker, I'll mark out where the hoop lies. Now you can see a rough area of where I need to actually hammer, and it's hitting right here and here the most. So with my sledge, my 4-pound sledge and my rounded side, I will now give this a couple love taps and open it up until that fits. So lots of hammering and test fitting, hammering some more. Finally got it beat out and it fits. Took it back out, got it into primer. We'll let that flash off now, and then we will reinstall, set everything in place, and keep going. All right, reinstalled. So, as you saw, 4-pound sledge, beat the holy hell out of that. Could not lift my arms when I was done. At the end, smoothed it all out with the air hammer. Now, everything fits back together. We've got the transmission mount, which with the bolts and nuts and whatnot can mount right here, and it can move back and forth a bit here, or use an adapter plate with, I believe, probably these nuts and bolts and washers. And I don't know if it mounts to the front of it or the back of it, but it mounts outside of the cross member, somewhere probably about there, or back here, wherever. The instructions list other transmissions other than what I'm going to be using, 727, etc. The Tremec TKX 5-speed, as we know I want to use. Probably going to have to modify this. I'm not sure yet, but that will be addressed down the road, a couple years, however long it takes me to get my motor and trans. So if I have to, this will all be modified again, but I'm happy for now. It is out of the box, off the floor, out of my way, and happy that I am done another part. There's another part done for my car. These are all just sitting here loose, as I know they will be coming off and on when I go to paint the rest of the car and address the bottom, which is coming in future videos. I have a lot of work to do here. I'm still mounting parts. So again, coming soon. I have the rear brackets that I just got. They're sitting over there on the floor ready to go on. Upcoming video again. So for now, we are done. By now, I'm pretty sure you all know the drill. Follow me on Instagram at provibe_garage. I hope you like this. Found it hopefully helpful. If not, maybe entertaining. But anyways, if you did, follow along, like and subscribe, and hopefully I get to see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching.